prior to a board meeting because, as you know, in the past, there have been things done during board meetings that make it circus-like. We're not going to have that anymore. We need to conduct business at school board meetings, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And that's why I decided to have this press conference prior to the meeting, so we can do nothing but conduct business. Hello, and thank you for coming. My name is Robert Zamora, and I'm the elected president of the Alhambra Elementary School Board. This is a voluntary and unpaid position. And let me repeat that. This is a voluntary, unpaid position. I have served on this board since my appointment in 2007. I make my living as a security supervisor at a local high school, where I'm currently on medical leave after fracturing my neck on duty during the course of the school day. I have lived in the Phoenix area for my entire life. I am a native Phoenician. I have raised my 5 children here. Like my board colleagues, I serve as a policymaker out of an obligation to help improve the educational opportunities for my children and the young people in this community. I am here to talk today about some sleazy tactics being used by an organization called Stand for Children, and the depths to which they are willing to stoop to assert control over this district. Last week, I realized that I was being followed by private investigators. Everywhere I would go, I would find these people taking pictures. If I approached them or pulled behind them in my drive, they would pull away immediately. My wife observed a man in the yard taking pictures through her window. At the same time, I experienced a pattern of harassing phone calls, not only to myself, but to my wife, sometimes over a dozen a day. I believe this is an organized effort by Stand for Children to intimidate me into resigning from the board. Prior to last week, it was reported to me, not only by news stations, but someone from the county, that Stand for Children had private investigators collect information that created the appearance that I did not live in the district. Stand for Children then used a high-priced media company to create a public furor over my residency based on claims that are just not true. I live in the district. I am remodeling and repairing my home. I am renting another home for my family while this is being done. I was given legal opinions and clearance for this temporary arrangement by the district's attorney. Period. End of story. That's it for that. But I'm here today before you because after this tempest in a teapot, the harassment and intimidation has continued. After more encounters with these mystery photographers everywhere I went and more harassing phone calls, a friend suggested that I search my vehicles as it appeared that I was being electronically tracked. This weekend, I discovered indeed that was the case. Underneath my family vehicles, I found sophisticated surveillance equipment that I removed. Today I have 2 of the devices here. I am told that this level of surveillance costs thousands of dollars. Over the last several years, while I would like to know why an organization that calls itself Stand for Children and purports to support the best interest of children spend thousands of dollars to harass and intimidate me, I would hope you all would ask them questions. All I know is that I was elected to be on the board to ensure our kids get a quality education. I have done my best to fulfill that mission. I don't think this is about me, not at all. I think this is about an organization that will use any means to attack policymakers who don't toe the line to their agenda. Over the last several years, I and other board members have observed some alarming trends in our district. For the first time in decades, Alhambra School District students' achievement scores are trending down. Over the last 5 years, more than 500 teachers have resigned or left the district, according to a recent KPHO news investigation. AESD has nearly double the number of permanent substitutes teaching at our schools. This is twice the number to the next highest district, Mesa, and they are many times larger than our district. Surveys by ADEA, ASBA, and the results of community forums show that employees are afraid to speak up on issues for fear of retribution. School safety also has now become a question and an issue. I and a majority of our board have taken steps to reverse these disturbing trends, and for this, I believe I am being punished. We still have a great district. I am proud of this district and proud to be one of its members, but some changes are needed. We are nearing the completion of a process to hire a new superintendent, and I am committed to work with the staff and community to make the changes necessary to get back on track of Alhambra excellence. I am confident that I am carrying out the will of our community, and I will not be intimidated. Any further discussion ever will be done with comments in regards to this matter or any other from my attorney.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Martinez, and I'm here under a couple of different roles. First, I serve as a state senator that serves the Alhambra Elementary School District community. This constituency is also my constituency. I've heard from the community about this, about the problems happening in this district and about some of the recent occurrences that have happened in this district, and they have concerned me in that role. I'm also an attorney. And I'm also a school board member myself in a neighboring district in the Pendergast Elementary School District to the west of Alhambra. I want to thank the entire Alhambra Elementary School District Governing Board and all of their administration and staff and teachers and parents for their service as public school board members in an environment where we have to be honest about our public schools, where I want to point out a majority of our students in our community go to public schools in this state. These public schools here in Arizona are under attack. They're under attack from the legislature, from the outside, and they're under attack from within, under a lot of times, through certain organizations that come into these districts to stir up trouble. Certain organizations that come into these districts to cause problems and to create controversy in order to fill their own organization's pockets. This volunteer board here in Alhambra, these 5 board members, they run this district with the primary purpose and objective of providing the best possible public education to the students and the kids of this district, given the limited resources that are made available to them. Personnel decisions are often the hardest decisions that a school board can make. I know that myself from personal experience. As in my role as a school board president, we also went through a recent superintendent change within the last year and a half. That decision and all decisions regarding personnel, especially at the highest level of a district, are the most difficult decisions a board will ever have to make. There are many factors that must be considered, but at the end of the day, the ultimate decision lies, and the ultimate factor that is considered is what is best for the children of the district. These board members have made a decision here today, over the last couple of months, they've made a decision regarding this personnel move that they thought was in the best interest of the students of this district. My message to the community, to the parents, to the teachers, to the administrators out in this district here in Alhambra, is that this process should be a collaborative process. It should not be an us versus them process. It should not be parents versus the board. You should be working with the board. The board is not your enemy in this process. They are your partners. It is okay to disagree with some of their decisions, including their ultimate decision of hiring or letting go a superintendent. That is perfectly acceptable. It is okay to even hold them accountable come election time. And again, as public officials, elected public officials, we understand that role we play, and we understand the responsibility we have to our communities, and we understand that if our decisions are wrong, we are held accountable at the ballot box. But what is not okay is what has been happening here in the Alhambra School District. It is not okay for an organization with ulterior motives to come into your community, the Alhambra community, conduct personal attacks on school board members, individual members, spend thousands of dollars on private investigators, harassing the wives and the children of board members, attempting to publicly humiliate board members, stalking them, and ultimately attempting to blackmail them and force them to resign from the board. This is exactly what is happening here in the Alhambra School District, and it has gone too far. As a community, we all need to come together and tell these organizations that no, this is not the way we want to conduct business, and it is not the way we will conduct business in our school district. These stunts are not good for the district as a whole. These stunts are not good for the administrators. These stunts are not good for teachers, and ultimately, and most importantly, this is not good for the children of this district. If this organization is willing to go to these lengths and conduct themselves in this manner and ultimately jeopardize the well-being of these kids, of our children, we must be asking ourselves, what is the real agenda behind these efforts? What is the real agenda to spend this amount of money? What is the real agenda to motivate parents to come out and attack board members? My hope is that the community will rise up together, and my request to the community, let's rise up together. Let's be partners in public education. Let's work with the board to move through this transition process, and let's do what's best for our kids. Let's tell these organizations that these actions are reprehensible. They are no longer welcome in the Alhambra community. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. We will answer brief questions, but these board members do have to get to the business of running the school district, and they do have a board meeting that is starting in only a few minutes, so they will be leaving shortly. So we will answer just one or two questions if there are any from the media.
As far as these allegations of harassment and tracking, what have you done, or what do you plan to do as far as taking legal action?
You lost it.
Answer another question if you want.
Okay, you guys, someone else want to go?
I just want to say thank you for what you guys have been doing. It's a long overdue, and I know the fight's been hard, and as community members and family members of people in this community, we appreciate it so much, more than words can say. I personally stopped going to board meetings because of the violent atmosphere that was there, and it was too scary for me. So I appreciate you guys standing strong in this.
And just to clarify also, we've also got Mr. Martinez here, who's also a member of the Alhambra Elementary School District Governing Board, who's here to support a call.
Mr. Zamora, where does the county's investigation stand? Have you been in contact with them, or as the attorney, have you been in contact with them?
As far as we know, there is no investigation. My client and I have not been contacted by the county at all. But if that investigation were to proceed or commence, Mr. Zamora would defend it vigorously, and he would ultimately be successful in that as well.
Also, you quoted some statistics of declining performance in Alhambra the last 5 years, I think you said. Are those the reasons, some of the reasons that you and the other board members who voted for Dr. Williams to be dismissed, are those the reasons?
I'll just say that as one board member, obviously I don't vote on behalf of all the other board members. I would just say that the information I gave you, I think, is public record. It's data that's used, whether it's by board members or parents, the community. I would hope that we would take action when seeing those type of numbers and those type of declines. So I won't speak for the rest of the board, but I will say that personally, when you look at things like that, you have to take them into consideration.
Are you saying, yes, those are the things are those the reasons that you personally voted to?
Well, because this is still a pending matter, I don't really want to get into in-depth personnel issues, so, I mean, that's the best I can answer for it.
I went to the board meeting a few days ago. I was the one that objected about not having any interpreters or translators. But I saw where Stand for Children came into that building, and they came in with what appeared to be, what I do during the day is I'm the office manager for the Dreamers, the Arizona Dream Act Coalition. I deal with the undocumented immigrant community every day. I've been doing it since 97, 96. What I saw that night is that they were outside and they were glued what appeared to be the immigrant community. Is that the avenue that Stand for Children is coming in here? Or can you comment on that? Because another reason is I'm doing a civil rights case in Murphy School District, and the school board in Murphy School District voted to not even allow them to come into the district.
I think that's a question you would have to ask them.
No, but I mean, is it the immigrant community that's being targeted here in our home?
Once again, I think you would have to ask them.
We don't know who they're targeting.
Yeah. You were back to your questions?
Yeah, our mic's back on. So what have you done and what do you plan to do?
No, Mr. Zamora is looking at all of his legal options for this situation. Like we said, there have been complaints that have been filed. Those are baseless complaints and they are meritless complaints. So no action has been taken on any of those yet. If there is any movement forward in those, and I doubt there will be, but if there is, he will vigorously defend them, and he will be successful. But aside from that, he's examining all options at this point.
Can I just make a quick comment? I am a former board member. They do a lot of work with no pay and total volunteer. I'm also a former employee. I'm a former volunteer, and I'm a parent in the district and a voter in the district. And I just wanted to address this gentleman's question. I think there was one other big issue that had to do with the superintendents being replaced, and that was the absolute total decline of employee morale and retention in the district over the last several years. I don't work in the district anymore, but I know people in the district. I live in the community. I have people tell me things. I hear things. To me, that was the absolute. I spoke in front of the board a year ago about this, just as a private citizen. People that had wanted to retire from Alhambra were leaving the district long before they wanted to because of the atmosphere going on as far as employee issues. And just another quick aside, people are afraid to come. There was another teacher outside that left because she was afraid to come into this meeting. And she's not the only one.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.